Hey guys, it's Sam. Welcome back to my channel. So today is probably going to be one of my last, if not my last video relating to weddings, just because my wedding happened. It is over now. I am officially married. I don't know if you guys can see that. The day was beautiful. Lots of friends and family there, which was fantastic. It's been so long since we've been able to get together with everybody, and we are very fortunate because, you know, there was nobody who ended up getting sick at our wedding, which I feel like is a very rare thing. Some people didn't come because they were sick, which I cannot tell you how appreciated it is. There are a couple things that went wrong during the day. You know, hindsight's 2020. If I was doing it again, knowing then what I know now, would things be different? Yes, they would. So I wanted to put this video up to give you guys sort of, you know, my top 5 tips of things to really get the fullest out of your own day, especially if you're like me and you're trying to plan your own wedding. Even really if you're not, if you're helping a friend or a maid of honor or, you know, something like that plan their wedding. These are sort of my 5 top tips to really get the fullest experience out of your day. Number 1, do not be afraid to DIY, and don't be afraid to try and do things you've never done before. I know that there is a lot of, you know, wedding planners on the internet that say, if you don't know how to do that, don't even try it, this and that. I will tell you guys, I have experience making cards. For certain, I do. So that really helped me along the stationery line in terms of making, you know, my save the dates, my invitations, my thank you cards, my place cards, all things like that. But, you know, there are things I had never done before that actually worked out really, really well. I'd been talking to you guys for a while that I was going to do my own floral arrangements from Costco. Now, I'm going to break this down in this video because I didn't get any footage of me doing it. I was just too stressed out the week before my wedding to actually take video and explain to you guys what I had done. So for our wedding, I needed a bridal bouquet, a maid of honor bouquet, 6 bridesmaids bouquets. I ended up making a toss bouquet. I made 4 corsages and something like 16 boutonnieres. Now keep in mind, I didn't do florals for centerpieces. There were no florals anywhere else because we got married at a garden. So there was already tons of green, already tons of flowers everywhere. I didn't feel the need to add any. So for our wedding, I ordered from Costco, I believe I ordered 4 bunches of yellow roses, and each bunch is 2 dozen roses. So I think that's 96 yellow roses. I ordered 4 bunches of white roses. So again, 96 white roses. I ordered 1 bunch of baby's breath. That was 120 stems, I believe. I ordered 2 bunches of leather leaf. I can't exactly remember how much was in there. 2 bunches of eucalyptus, 2 bunches of, I think it was called like ruscus flower or ruscus leaf, something like that. That is what I ordered. It ended up costing me under $400 to do all of that. And basically all you need to do after that is get some floral tape, maybe some wire, because I did find that every once in a while one of the rose heads snapped off. You can kind of structurally support them, but you're gonna need a thicker gauge wire than what I tried to use. And definitely some really, really good floral cutters. Because when you get them all, so I picked mine up the Thursday morning, and, you know, they give them to you in buckets. We picked them up right when the store opened, got them over to my parents' place. We spent the first little bit, you know, removing all of the thorns off of the roses. So a thorn stripper is also really, really handy. By accident, I actually bought wire strippers, but they ended up working really well for the roses too, so that was nice. You want to cut the ends of the stems at an angle just to give them a fresh cut to put them back in water, and, you know, just prep everything. So that took a couple hours, and then it was just a case of, you know, grabbing bits and pieces, grab a flower there, add some baby's breath, and kind of just make a hand bouquet just until you're happy with the shape. So I was, like I said, able to make all of those things for under $400. It saved me a ton of money. I will put pictures sort of here showing you guys what they ended up looking like. I think they looked fantastic. And considering I made them the Thursday morning, what I did is I kept them in vases over the next 2 days. We transported them to the venue in vases. They lived there in those with a little bit of flower food, and they ended up beautiful on the day of. Everybody always worries, like, are they gonna last? Are they gonna die? They didn't die. I had no problems. In fact, the day after, the bouquets still looked great on the Sunday. Now, I had no use for 8 bouquets, so I ended up giving them to the lady who owned the venue to sort of take to a nursing home and give them to the residents there, so that's something to brighten their day. So that's also a really good option if you're not planning on like drying your bouquet or preserving it. For me, it wasn't a big deal because I made it myself. I could easily just do it again if I wanted to, but I had never done that before and it went so well. Now, I did practice a couple times ahead of the day of. That helped me a little bit. It also helped me to figure out exactly what kind of florals I wanted to do. Now, what I'm talking about is a very simple rose only bouquet. If you're mixing in other types of flowers, you may need some professional help or some more practice, but doing just the one type of flower, and it comes in so many different colors, was really good for me. And roses are always in season. They're always really readily available. So it's a really good like staple flower to have, and they're a really robust flower, so they last a really long time. The other thing that I took on myself, and it did cause some stress, I must say, is I baked my own cake. Again, in the end, I will put a picture here, it turned out great. It was very stressful leading up to. I had always baked cupcakes and decorated those. I'd never put together a cake, but you know what? There are so many videos online that made it so easy for me. And again, it took, I think, 3 boxes of cake mix and I think 4 things of icing, and then I picked up some fake florals from either a craft store or a dollar store. So all in all, I'd say to make a full 3-tier wedding cake probably cost me under $50. Now, you could easily get like the pre-made cakes, like sheet cakes at places like Sam's Club, Costco, you know, grocery stores, Walmart, those sort of places. Or you could even do what other people do, which is like the couple tiers of the cake are fake and you just have one tier that you cut into just for the whole cutting of the cake thing. We did a full cake. So what I'm trying to tell you guys is, you know, every time I mentioned it to somebody, that what I was doing, they told me I was crazy, but it turned out so well and so beautifully. And that's sort of the only thing that I'm kind of like hanging on to right now in terms of wedding planning. I would never take on somebody else's full wedding. I just think it's a lot for one person. It caused me a lot of stress, which I was willing to take on for myself and Tom's wedding, but I don't think I would do it for somebody else's. But if somebody, say, came to me and was like, I need help doing florals, or I need help making a cake, and they were okay with it looking a little bit more rustic, because I'll be honest, from one angle, our cake did have quite a lean on it. I was never worried about it falling or anything like that, but you had to kind of find the right side to have as your presentation side. And especially if anybody ever wanted me to help out with place cards or invitations, I would like be so happy to help other people, you know, whether it's friends, family, whether I charge a very small fee to do it. If I can save somebody stress and money, it kind of seems worth it to me. So that's the first thing I want to say is don't be afraid to DIY stuff. Don't be afraid to take on, you know, the impossible, because I promise you it's probably not impossible. And there's so many things now. There's Cricut cutters. There's so many like resources online to teach you how to do stuff that it ends up actually being a lot more feasible than you think it will be. Number 2, your timeline. This is something that we overlooked for quite a while. It wasn't something that was at the front of my brain when it came to planning the wedding. Yes, I knew I had to pick a time for dinner. Yes, I knew I had to pick a time for ceremony. But other than that, I was pretty, you know, nonchalant about the whole thing. So when I say timeline, I don't mean like it needs to be structured down to the minute, because it doesn't. But something that we realized, because unfortunately it rained on our day. Our ceremony was supposed to be at 3:30, and at literally 3:30 hit and it started raining. And you know, a lot of times it would be a quick rain and you could push it out a little bit. So we decided to wait about half an hour to see if we could do our ceremony at 4 if the rain would have gone away. It hadn't, so we had to do some on-the-fly adjustments. We ended up getting married in like this open air structure that nobody had ever gotten married in before. The structure wasn't even there when we originally booked the venue. It had been built over the past year, so that was really lucky. It ended up being beautiful, and literally as soon as we said our vows, like the clouds cleared and the sun came out. It was just one of those things, but it did cause some issues for the rest of the night, just in terms of timing, because our ceremony that was supposed to be from 3:30 till 4 was now till 4:30, which meant dinner that was supposed to be at 6 originally to leave 2 hours for people to either go check into the hotel, enjoy cocktails or hors d'oeuvres, or for us to be able to take photos and still have time to enjoy our cocktail hour, got smushed into less time. And so dinner got pushed back a little bit, which meant the caterer had to on the fly make sure everything would make it to a half an hour later, because what you don't want is all of your food going cold, especially where we are. The caterer was from off site. There was no cooking facilities on site. Everything was great. Food was fantastic. Super, like, the caterer was just so professional, so great at that. But it also meant that because dinner got pushed back, there was less time for dancing later, less time for a party later, and we had ordered a late night taco bar. And because dinner got pushed back and the portions were huge, like, I'm not kidding you, we had like 20-ounce steaks. We were not expecting that. But because everybody had eaten so late, nobody was hungry for the taco bar, so a lot of that went unused, and we could have saved some money there for sure. So when I say timeline, give yourself more time than you think you need in case something goes wrong, in case a car breaks down, you don't get there in time. You can't move a ceremony forward ever, but you can always push a ceremony back a little bit. You just have to realize that in pushing that ceremony back, other things are going to get pushed back as well. The girls and I were ready to go by 1 o'clock. We could have had the ceremony earlier, except for that, you know, we said we were going to do it at 3:30 all along. But at the same time, you don't want it too early, because for us, our whole wedding was at one venue. Almost everybody was coming from out of town, so the ceremony and reception were all in one place. We kind of wanted people to be able to explore and this and that, but you also don't want like 4 or 5 hours in between, because people are going to get bored and they're going to have to leave and they're not going to want to come back. Just saying. Number 3, do not feel obligated to have anybody there in total as part of your day, as a bridesmaid, a maid of honor, a best man, a groomsman, anything like that, or anywhere that they are not supposed to be for your day. Don't do it. I see this all the time on these Facebook groups that I'm in, of these girls saying, I'm in a conundrum about my bridesmaids. I've had this friend that I've had since I was like this age, and she assumes she's going to be a bridesmaid, but I don't really want her as a bridesmaid. We aren't as close as we used to be. Or I have these bridesmaids, but they're not being super supportive of me. I kind of want them out, but I don't want to cause problems with a friendship. Or, you know, ooh, I've known this person for forever and they assume they're coming to my wedding, but again, they're not that important to me. Or especially if you have like friends that cause scenes or like to be the center of attention and you don't trust how they're going to act at your wedding. It is your day. Remember that at all costs. And this will come along for number 4 as well. It is your day. Don't have anybody anywhere. Don't let anybody push their way in. I've seen stories of how brides wanted a special moment with their fathers and a bridesmaid or a sister or something like that encroached on that time. It's not okay, because you're never going to get another chance to, theoretically, you're never going to have another wedding. You're never going to have a chance to do that again. Don't let those memories of people get in on your thing. And don't be afraid to tell people what is and is not their place. If you have an overbearing bridesmaid, an overbearing mother, an overbearing father, anything like that, make it very clear to them the expectation of this is not your place, this is your place. If you need to do this, you can. If not, stay out of it. And also something that I noticed is it's very important to only surround yourself with people that you love and that absolutely support you. And that's for the whole day. It's a very, very, very stressful day. You're constantly worried about, is it going to rain? Is it not going to rain? Are we going to be ready in time? How's my groom holding up? How's the venue going to look? Did they get those things done last night that they were supposed to get done? Is everybody going to make it? You're so constantly worried and anxious about everything else. You want people with you while you're getting ready that are going to calm you and put you at ease and not stress you out. And that is one mistake I made, is that somebody who got ready with us probably shouldn't have. It was a family member that didn't necessarily have to be there, but I wanted to include them, and in the end I wish I hadn't, because you know, they did cause me a little bit of stress. I think that their head wasn't in the right place. They weren't focused on the fact that it was mine and Tom's day. I'm not going to go into any more detail than that, but it caused me some issues, and it is one of those negative memories I have from my day. because the girls that I chose to be in my bridal party were fantastic. They were amazing. They were all on time. They were all high energy. Everybody was super excited. They got along great. I'm very much a drama-free kind of person, and I know when you get a huge group of girls together, especially girls that don't really know each other, it can be a little intense, but my girls are fantastic. No drama, no fights, no nothing. It was awesome. And one of the best memories of the day, probably not for her. My niece is 14. She was in the bridal party. Because it had started to rain just in time for them to arrive at the venue, we were kind of hanging out in this like little bridal garden house that had a tin roof. She's afraid of thunder, and it was amplified by the fact that we were in there. So I was in there panicking, starting to cry, hyperventilate, because I was by myself at this point. I had gone separately from my bridesmaids to the venue. I went with my dad. That's another thing. I wish I had just stayed with the girls. Not that I don't love my dad, but I needed their energy and their soothing presence, and I didn't have it. So I was freaking out in this little room by myself, and they finally showed up, and she came in and she was just distraught, and I just went, hold the phone, what's going on? And we decided to drown out the sound of the rain, that we would just play music on a phone and everybody would sing along to Party in the USA and different songs from Pitch Perfect. And it was just my favorite part of the day, just all of us girls in there just singing. And I think it really calmed me down, because if not, I probably would have had a full-blown breakdown, and I had my makeup done and that would have been a shame. Number 4, to go along with sort of number 3, do what you want to do. And this kind of ties into almost everything. If you want to DIY everything, you DIY everything. If flowers aren't important to you, don't freaking worry about it. If you tell somebody you're having a certain thing and they kind of go, ooh, that's a bad idea, don't listen to them. It's your day. Do what you want. For everybody who supports you, there is going to be somebody negative out there who doesn't support you. Don't listen to those people. You only get one, again, theoretically, you only get one shot at this. I cannot tell you how many, again, things I have seen of people having regrets because they either let other people talk them out of things, or, you know, they didn't, you know, take care of themselves. And that's another thing. When I say, like, do what you want, like, focus on you and on your future spouse. Whether you're a groom or a bride, focus on the two of you, because that is what's most important. That means the night before, getting a good night's sleep. To be honest, the night before we had our rehearsal run through, and everybody went out for dinner afterwards, with the exception of me and my maid of honor, because I knew I didn't have time to sit for a 3 or 4 hour dinner with 40 people, and I needed to get to bed at a decent time because I was going to be stressed. It was going to be a long day, and I did that. Self-care, super, super important. Same with the day of. Make sure that you are eating. So important, because you know what? It's going to be a long day. I just had toast and bacon. One of the favorite pictures that got taken that day is of me eating bacon. It's my favorite food. But yeah, like, just take care of yourself and check in with your significant other, because Tom did not sleep very well the night before. He was very anxious, not about marrying me, just about how the whole day was going to be. There are some interesting dynamics in our family that were adding some extra stress onto us, that didn't end up being an issue whatsoever, but you know, you always have that what if in your head. What if this happens? What if that happens? It didn't end up being a problem. But, you know, it was stressful, so I was checking in with him, trying to make sure he was okay, checking in with myself, making sure I was okay. And what I noticed even I did at the wedding is I was so focused on everybody else. Are you having a good time? Thanks for coming. Are you this? Are you this? Because you know what? You're going to get pulled every which way. Don't worry about it. If people want to talk to you, they'll come to you. Enjoy yourself. Have fun, because the party flies by in a second and you can't get that time back. And I was so stressed about everybody else, and I'm thankful for it now, but I didn't drink at our wedding because I was just so busy trying to get everything else done. Are the desserts out? Is this person taken care of? Is that person okay? Where did that person go? Okay, you're leaving. Let me go and find. So, you know, I was just had so much on the go at the time, and I wish I had just like chilled out, relaxed, and really understood that, like, once the day comes, you can't change anything. What is gonna be will be, and you have to not stress. And I was very, very stressed out about it, and I was very stressed out for a couple days after. Like, I just had to, and again, this is another thing, look after yourself and what you want and what you need, because for the whole week after, I didn't really answer texts about the wedding. I didn't even think about opening cards or gifts, because I just needed to like debrief from the wedding. I needed to not think about it and just get away. And Tom and I went up to the trailer for the week, and every night we were passed out on the couch by like 11 o'clock because we were just so exhausted. Having a wedding, especially one that you mainly plan yourself, is really draining. Take the time to take care of yourself and make sure that you're okay leading up to, the day of, and after. That's really important. The fifth thing, and probably the most important thing that I'm going to tell you, is while the day is about you and your new husband, new wife, new whatever, life partner, whatever you want to call them, you're both not going to spend much time with each other. It's unfortunate, but it is the way it is, because they're going to have all of their family and friends there, and you're going to have all your family and friends there, and there's going to be people you want to meet and people you want to spend time with and this and that. I didn't get to see much of Tom at our own wedding. It is something that I hear constantly. So one of the things we did, and I feel like this is super important, and I would recommend this to anybody going forward, right after our ceremony, when we kissed, we exchanged the rings, all good. Everybody went one way, and Tom and I left and went the other way. And we went back to that little bridal garden house where there was a bottle of champagne and 2 glasses waiting for us. And we sat down for 10 minutes. That's all it took. And we just took it all in. We hugged each other. We kissed each other. We said, "How are you doing? Are you okay?" And we just took a minute to just be by ourselves and really, really take in what we just done. Because even though it doesn't always work out, marriage is supposed to be a lifelong commitment that you make to somebody. It's a very serious thing. And you know, you can get kind of like swept up in all the magic of the day and not really realize the significance that those moments have on your life. So it was really, really nice for us to get to go and have that private moment and just be with each other and see each other and not worry about cameras or family pulling us any which way, or hey, come have a drink with us, or this and that. Absolutely nothing, just the 2 of us. And it was great, because even though we were sitting next to each other at dinner, you know, he was up saying hi to people, I'm waving to people, whatever, we're eating, we're listening to speeches, even though you get your dance and whatever. I didn't get to spend as much time with him as I wanted until nearer to the end of the night when less people were there and we were just dancing and having a good time. So I hope that all of those little tips help. If you guys are planning your own wedding, are helping a friend or family member plan a wedding, have any questions, I don't post to it, but I do check my Instagram. I know that they took away the messaging on YouTube a really long time ago, but if you guys have any questions, concerns, you want any help with anything, you want to know more about how my day went, please message me on Instagram. I will answer you. You know, I want to have a closer relationship with my subscribers. I know that there are not a ton of you, so I value the ones that I do have. It is so important to me, and I'm so grateful that everybody has come along with me on this. Yeah, so if you guys like this video, give it a thumbs up, comment down below, subscribe to my channel if you aren't already. I would really appreciate it. Hopefully I put up enough pictures for you here to see how it went. If you guys are curious about anything else, feel free to ask. I can always put up like a follow-up video with other things. Yeah, I will catch you guys next time. Bye.